It's 10:07. I want to go to heaven, but I don't want to die to get there. I'm willing to wait. Maybe it'll get so crazy I'll say, "Okay, I'm ready." It's a decision that is not really up to me ultimately. Hi there. Welcome to Worldwide Ramblings for the 30th of August 2025, an end of summer soiree. It's funny, I've been talking about preparation and I just saw uh, um, a minute or so of somebody else, and I thought I'm going on the air tonight. Zero, zero preparation. I've been here, I've been there with Karen, and then I went to get Chinese food, and the time just flew by. It flew by. So all in full disclosure, I'm totally winging it tonight, except for one little thing. Excuse me. I usually hit the cough button. Heather, how's it going? Hey, Jack. Brenda Noyce is here. Top of the evening to you. Hello, Jack. Miles Wright. Nice to always see your name there, Miles. Um, and downtown William Brown. Hi, Jack. From finally in Danville, Illinois. William is touring the United States. That's a rough state, Illinois, but I don't think Danville is, right? I don't know. I don't know a thing about it. Karen Phillips hijacking everyone. I know it's a crime monster in Chicago. And that mayor, oh my goodness. He's a dodo bird. He's a dodo bird. Tammy with an I, Tammy Griffin. Hello. Hello. And Pam, not to be confused with Pam Donnelly or Pam Dauber for that matter. Hi, Jack and chat. Great to see everyone. Gloria Drummond. Jesus is the only answer. Can't argue with that. I mean, that's what I believe. Blessings, Jack, and everyone got you live. Yay. And new place to live in Illinois, says William Brown. It's near Chicago. Don't go in there. Wait, the troops are coming. The National Guard is coming. The mayor has sworn not to do anything to protect his people from crime. So he's not going to let the police. Um, he's not going to let the police assist the National Guard. How did we get to a form of government? Government, Reagan always said government, and a lot of the politicians in the early days said government. When did we get to the place in the government where a pipsqueak that nobody likes except maybe the free stuff crowd to some degree, that he could tell the police what to do? He's not worthy, this guy, to take the dung off their shoes. Just an observation. I'll stop now. No soapbox tonight, I promise. Well, unless somebody leads me into it, they bait me. They they just didn't bait me. Makes me think of Bates Motel. What a show that was. Ah, yes. Speaking of great shows, Dexter Resurrection, episode 9. Oh, seen it twice already. Only one episode left next Friday. And then it'll probably be February or so before Michael returns to taping. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. So it's good to have you here, Gloria. 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 Makes me think of the late, great Laura Branigan. Shelley 3 is here. Hi, Jack, and all watching. And Sam Sammy. Shout out to Brenda there and Shelley. And yeah, those are our core family people for the most part there. 37 watching and 4 likes right now. and it's Labor Day weekend. Um, Labor Day, celebrated in the United States on the first Monday of each September, is the nation's official commemoration of its workers' contributions to national strength, prosperity, and well being. Everything the Republicans want for America. It also marks for millions of Americans the unofficial end of summer. It just is how we see it. And often that's how it goes. But here in August, in the Hudson Valley, we have had very chilly nights in August, you know, um, not using the air conditioner much this month at all. But according to Lonnie Quinn from CBS 2 New York, the uh, the not the what am I trying to say? The prediction. The prediction for September, October, November, temperatures above normal. Amen. In the 70s for a long time. Yeah. 60s, 50s at night. So it's going to actually be warmer in what we would call the early fall uh, than uh, than it was in August. That is strange. Although we did have some warm days in August. I don't want to mislead you. This is one of those five-star Hudson Valley weekends. It's just, there's nothing like it. There's just nothing like it. Um, Labor Day originated in the late 19th century during the labor movement, which advocated for better working conditions, including shorter workdays. While many associate it with the end of summer and barbecues, we always turn these days, including Memorial Day, into a picnic barbecue. The holiday's true meaning lies in recognizing the contribution of workers to the country's, as I said before, prosperity and well being. If you're a true American, you care about the well being of the country. And I don't know what the forecast will be here, but I know a lot of people will be enjoying the last moments of summer. And Sammy hits the thanks button. Thank you. In turquoise, no less, for 279. Elvis is here. How do you know? Do you have ESP or just ESPN or neither? I don't know. Thank you, Sammy. I appreciate you hitting the thanks button right there for 279. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hockey's here, is she? Let me see. Even though William Brown is acknowledging Elvis Bob, that was his middle name? I thought it was Aaron. And that's with one A, right? Let's see here. Sally Stokes, how are you? Cheryl Chambers, hi. Welcome, Cheryl Chambers. Hello, hello, hello. And somewhere is Hockey 92. There we are. Good evening, Jack and everybody. Good to see you all happy. Well, yeah. Even if I am depressed before air or saying, gee, I'm tired and what have you, there's something about, you know, that moment when I hit the go live button and, I came up here kind of late, to say the least, and had to throw everything together. And um, it's just worked out that way. But there's something about when you hit that go live button, just like Rod Stewart says, he's getting on in years now and he's going to do his final tour. It doesn't mean he'll never do another solo concert or something like that. But times when he's overbooked his schedule because he makes the final okay. And, he'll say, oh boy, I shouldn't have booked so many close together. I really wish I could rest tonight. He says, but when he hits that stage, it's all forgotten. And when Pastor Bob um, I think just from the moment he walks in the building of Household of Faith, he loses like 15 years of age. 15 years of age. So there's that's the anointing of the Holy Spirit, and he certainly has it. I love it when I can visibly see it, you know. There's been preachers that said some good things, but you didn't see you didn't see it in their face. You didn't see that the Holy Spirit was going to be working through them, and that um, I could almost say sometimes it felt like, yes, they worshiped the Bible, but not the God who wrote it. That's a strong statement. And I am thinking of a preacher, for example, that Kirk Cameron loves very much. Didn't surprise me because Kirk is very conservative, reform kind of guy, the guy from Growing Pains. He has a podcast. It didn't surprise me that he was a big fan of John MacArthur, who was sometimes accused of being legalistic and uh, often going after other preachers, which is okay if there's if it's the leading of the Lord, if that's your assignment, some people make a career out of it, Hank Hanegraaff kind of did that on his Bible Answer Man show. Is he still around? I don't know. I don't know. I used to listen to him, but often I would say, you know, uh, other times he was spot on, but uh, John MacArthur did preach the gospel for a lot of years, and I think that he did say some good things. He knew the scripture. I don't know how he really felt about the gifts of the Holy Spirit. Now, are they for today and that kind of thing? I never studied him that much, but conservative Christians tended to love John MacArthur. So I'm sure he's in the presence of God. I'm sure he's in the presence of God. So it's nice to have everybody here, 49 watching right now. And, and as I told you, no preparation tonight, but things will come to me because there's been things rolling around in my head, to make sure that the dust doesn't gather. Sometimes I feel I almost have to shoot some lemon pledge in my ears to get the dust out, But uh, I have been thinking a lot about the many faces of Pastor Bob Joyce, or someone who has claimed to be him, or uh, a look-alike. It's a real chameleon situation because there's not just two. There's 3, 4, and 5. There, I told you there were 4 Presley brothers. I don't think it's that. I'm not a 4 brothers kind of guy. Tony and Jesse, of course, who was a real brother. I believe he did pass away at birth. Never would have been able to hide that if he had not. And who are the other 2 names? But there are people. There's a whole website, and you have to pledge. You have to pledge that you believe these things, because many of these people who run these Facebook groups, this is their baby, and you had better fall in line, or you'll be gone faster than Kamala Harris from a spelling bee. So I've never wanted to join those groups, but I am happy when somebody gives me some information from one of them and see if it's credible, that kind of thing. But it's not my cup of tea or meat. Um, so today was just a day of somewhat relaxing, and then helping Karen with her needs, and then going out to the gazebo. We brought Willie Loomis out for a while, but he seems Most of the time, he just wants to stay on the porch and look around. I think he's figured out that Tabby, um, who is the father of the black cat that Willie Loomis is in love with, that he can't beat him in a fight, so he's just hanging out at the porch, and he knows we'll come running if we need him to. And Tabby will just get lost in a hurry, but not for Willie. It'll be a growling match, that kind of thing. Um, so if there were news, and I don't know what you've heard and what you haven't heard, I would put it in the title because you don't forget to do that. Um, well, we know there's baptisms right tomorrow in Household of Faith down by the creek. Down by the creek. I don't know if how many people have signed up and what have you. I really thought maybe they'd open the new church on Labor Day weekend. I'm still not sure. Try to remember. It's probably in the video. I changed the 300 seats to 260 seats when they announced that that's what the number would be. I guess it was Katie said 260 seats, or if it wasn't Katie, it was somebody else. But that's just about 60 more than they have where they are now when you combine both the overflow room with the sanctuary. So we'll see what the plans are there, and um, where the Lord leads him, where the Lord leads Pastor Bob. So, a little bit of my taste of my own medicine. Let's see here. Um, look at the email. Been kind of quiet. We did hear from Vinny. Nice to get a nice email from Vinny. And thank you, Elaine Peterson, for hitting the Cash App for $10. Thank you very, very much. Um, let's see here. Yeah, there's that picture of GB. I think they might have taken one of the pictures down. Don't worry, I won't put up stuff you don't want me to put up. I won't. I won't do that. Um, some people want their picture up, and some people don't. Some people don't mind if I tell some of their household of faith story, but they want me to keep it vague. They want me to keep it vague. So we have a number of videos that deal with a barrel full of Bob Joyce's. Um, we show the pictures of some of them, and I've been doing that since the talking of the two Bob Joyce theory, Robert Wayne Joyce and Pastor Bob Joyce. I've been doing that since 2018, but then I started to find other guys, other people with that Kenny Rogers look and what have you, that look somewhat like Elvis Presley, look somewhat like Pastor Bob Joyce, look somewhat like Robert Wayne Joyce, who I think we're right in saying grew to look more like Elvis as he got older. Didn't look much at all like him in 1975. So that's kind of strange. I've heard of people having surgery to make themselves look like somebody, to look more like somebody. Sometimes it works, and sometimes you get that Simon Cowell experience. That Simon Cowell experience. I mean, he was such a handsome guy when American Idol went on the air. Then he had a really, bad facelift. And to this day, he's not the same person. It would have been better just to use a little Botox, use all the creams and stuff they have, and not do the facelift. Other people have done it, and they look wonderful. They look absolutely wonderful. including people that are very close to President Trump, for example. So the I did catch a little bit of Mark Levin before I came on tonight, and he is laying out the whole Russia hoax. And now it is true the president did say that he would not make his second term about retribution. And look, he closed the border in less than 3 months. He's doing everything that he said he would do. It was foolish of him to say that he would end the Russia Ukraine conflict right away, because he doesn't have the power to do that. There's Vladimir Putin and there's Zelensky. I um, I don't know how this gets. I don't know how this gets to a conclusion. Zelensky doesn't want to give any land to Putin, and Putin won't be satisfied with that. He feels the whole Ukrainian government is illegitimate. Illegitimate. So this is something, that it's even more complicated in some ways than Gaza and Israel, because with bringing in 60,000 new troops to Gaza, I think it's 60,000, 6,000, 60,000, 6,000 sounds more accurate, not 60,000. 6,000. The idea is to eliminate Hamas, so people can get their provisions. They're stealing all the stuff that's coming in, and then in some cases reselling it to the Palestinians, etc., which we talked about before, I realize. So this is all very complicated stuff. And it just amazes me that there are people, including people that I love from Dark Shadows, that are, they will call Republicans warmongers, and then they will advocate for what could lead to World War III uh, in the Ukraine, uh, with Russia accidentally hitting Poland or something like that, you know. So they have no solution as how to end the conflict, but they were fine with us spending $200 billion and getting nothing really for it. Ukraine, so much of it is a bombed out shell, and now Putin is stepping up the bombing. He hasn't gone to tactical nukes yet, but I don't know that it's beyond him. Again, Poland uh, um, kind of is the reason that that hasn't happened already via Kiev, or Kiev, as we used to say. So there is that. What's on your guys' minds? Um, Hi, Faith Lloyd. She is here and saying hello to Rhonda. Dodge must be here too. Dodge Ram 01. Hi, y'all. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Jackie Organ from Australia is here as well. Sally Stokes loves Mark Levin. He's fantastic. Talk about a guy who knows his stuff. He knows the Constitution backwards and forwards, but that means nothing. That means nothing to a young progressive. They just say, we don't want to live by the rules of bigoted old white men. So there's no love for the country. There's a wanting to change it and acclimate, in some cases, in many cases, their culture into America, but without the dictator. Without somebody like the Shah of Iran or what have you, because their nonsense and their mouthing off wouldn't be tolerated there, but they feel that they can have free reign. So, and then we have judges that are trying to, uh, uh, well, they're trying to wrestle the power away from the president of the United States. Tariffs, tariffs, which are just in the infancy stage, have been working pretty well, and the leaders of other countries are accepting them for the most part. And so we got a federal judge that steps in because he hates Trump and wants to put a halt to that by October, saying that the president doesn't have the power to do that. So that will, when the Supreme Court comes back, that'll be on the agenda, that'll be pushed forward. And most of the time, they rule with the president on the important issues. So we shall see. What is wrong about wanting a country to pay its fair share? Why would we want a situation where they tax us, for example, 60% and we tax them uh, next to nothing? That makes no sense at all. Why would we allow their goods to flood the country where they have no interest in any American products coming into their country? And if they do allow anything, it's at an outrageous tariff. So this is all just political nonsense. But what Mark Levin was saying tonight was, and of course, this ties in with what Tulsi Gabbard has been doing. I love Tulsi. She's finding stuff in strange places that they tried to hide. People like Clapper and John Brennan is like the top dog. Well, the second. There's one above him in terms of, and I'm not. Then there's Hillary too, of course, but it seems at the top of the pack is Barack Obama himself, trying to spread. They always accuse us of misinformation. They are the real purveyors of misinformation, and the whole Russia thing from 2015, 2016 was manufactured by Obama, John Brennan, Clapper, Hillary, and a ton of other people who just they don't care about playing fair. They don't care about the voting will of the people. They just wanted to get him out of there, out of the way. That's the kind of world we live in now. Nancy Whitmore is here, and in memoriam Terry Whitmore. Hi, y'all. Welcome, welcome to you on this Saturday night. It's a Labor Day weekend. I don't think we have anything really planned for Monday. We're not going to do the traditional hamburgers and hot dogs, although the Nathans were on sale for I think $2.99 an 8-pack, so we do have some hot dogs, but no big plans. Tomorrow is Onion Fest in Pine Island, New York. And Polka Sean and Norma will be there. Andy is going to look after his mom, and I'll get to go over there and do the Onion Festival. Karen would like to go, but it's not time yet to be doing that kind of thing. She's slowly getting more mobile. I got to watch her. She'll climb the stairs by herself. I like to be behind her or in front of her if she's coming down. And Andy does the same thing. We don't want her falling down the stairs. We really, really, really don't want that. But you have to be sometimes quick on the draw. Well, here's somebody new. The devil doesn't play by the rules of engagement. Petros last name, something like that. Petros. The devil doesn't play by the rules of engagement. Okay. And what are you trying to say with that? You're talking about politically. We always have to think about what makes America separate from her enemies, and that's why during the George W. Bush administration with Cheney, when they started to talk about forms of torture, I was against it. because if you become like the enemy, you lose your argument as to why you are a more noble country if you do the same thing. I've never been a big proponent of the death penalty. There are many Christians that are. Um, I think that's God's job. Let God decide. Um, and that's why we have prisons. But of course, in some cases, it's a uh, it's a tough thing for the correctional officer that has to deal with this person every day. You don't want to put somebody in solitary unless there's no other option. I don't believe in treating prisoners like dirt. You have people that go in for nonviolent offenses. It could be real estate fraud. It could be any number of things, cheating on their taxes. And I believe in decent treatment. I don't believe in putting someone in a cell for 23 hours a day unless it is absolutely necessary, as a temporary corrective thing, that kind of thing. But there are people that are just, you know, it is impossible to have them out in general population. Huh. So yeah, Cheney and his daughter. Just I'm no fan of Dick Cheney or his daughter. Um, there's just this long list of people, and I didn't expect to talk this much about politics tonight. There's this long list of people that destroyed their own reputations by coming down with a bad, bad case of Trump derangement syndrome. There's many newscasters that fall into that from the networks, ABC, NBC, CBS to MSNBC, which I guess is MS now. Have they made that change yet? Or CNN, people that used to be, in some cases, beloved, that threw it all away in the quest to go from being a reporter to a commentator and to deliberately omit pertinent information and push the lie of something like the Russia hoax, that kind of thing. Hello, Darlene Koberstein. Jack, did you get my email? Just want to make sure you got it and the pictures. I don't know if I've seen the latest one. I know that that is probably something I would do in a pre-recorded video. There, I think you are. There, I think you are. My visit to Household of Faith, August 24th. Let's look at what you sent. There you are. Pastor Bob is looking svelte again. And you're wearing a really cool shirt. Seems like to be, as I click the forward button, it's the same picture. Yeah, it's the same picture. One picture that I see so far. And as I say, pastor's weight seems to fluctuate a little bit, but lately he's been looking fit and trim again. So there you go. You wrote a fairly lengthy email. I assume that I would know what most likely I would know what you wouldn't want me to share. And what is just kind of general information. If I have any question about something, I won't say it till we talk. But you have already indicated that this would happen. This trip was very taxing on me in mind, body, and spirit. I am glad I got to go, but it probably would have been better if I had waited for a better time. I know it's just something you just wanted to do. I understand, but I'm not going to go into all that. I know you're a busy man. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. Um, so she's got a story to tell, and I'll look through that, and you tell me if it's okay that we air that. And I wouldn't air anything that I thought wasn't fit for air or that you thought wasn't fit for air. But yes, I have it. Yes, I have it. And some people don't want me to share their picture, and that's okay. Make sure I know that for sure. Some people have let me know, don't share my picture. It's too bad, too, in some cases. um, Tucker Carlson has been talking about 9/11. I don't know if I like the Tucker Carlson format because I was so used to what he did at Fox, and I like long interviews, but with a long interview, one guest, and he or she can talk as long as they want. If the person that you're having on is of interest to a large part of the audience, they're not going to tune you in. Then they're going to get used to not tuning you in and forget about you. That kind of thing. So it's dangerous. There's a broadcast rule that says uh, leave them hungry for more, but don't leave them starving. Don't leave them starving. I'll get back to Tucker. I just want to look at the stream here. Yes, it's all fine, says Darlene. I just wanted to make sure you got it. I don't mind you sharing the picture. I only saw one so far on that email. Hello, Jack and everyone, says Nancy. Jupiter's Realm is here as well. Was the George 2025 thing considered a success? They would never tell you if it wasn't. Well, I guess that's a bold statement. I mean, you don't play down a disappointment. That's not a good thing. Obviously, there were a lot of seats to fill in the Bank OZK Arena, and you know, uh, you're not going to easily fill them in August. Um, some people, it's beyond their budget to do the whole package and what have you. Um, so I always try to get a sense. I want the people that went to write me a detailed email on your thoughts and let me know what I can say and what I can't say. I wouldn't say anything that was something that would hurt them. Um, I have my own criticisms sometimes when I look at a list of speakers or what have you, and then the amount of time they're going to get to speak, and then that there's too many speakers and not enough music. People don't want one speaker after another. What's your core audience? Who tends to come? Is it female? Female over a certain age? That would influence what I would pick. That would influence what I would pick in terms of speakers. Um, Things I wouldn't go for, and what have you. But I would love if you did go to George Magazine. I would love to have your thoughts, whether it be a few thoughts here in the live stream, or better yet, in a detailed email where you express what you did like, what you didn't like, what you'd like to see more of, what you'd like to see less of, that kind of thing. That kind of thing. Um, Todd Dram is talking about maple syrup. You have maple trees. It's a funny thing about maple syrup. I mean, it doesn't have much of a taste to me, but if I were to get maple fudge, it would be very what I expect maple to taste like. So I haven't found maple syrup. Talking about something to put on the waffles or the pancake, I haven't found maple syrup yet that I would enjoy as much as log cabin. I just have to be honest. But when there's maple foods, it's totally different. So that's very strange to me. I was watching Dark Shadows as we always do, and Adam is on. He's the it's kind of like the Frankenstein storyline, only played by a much better looking human being. That would be the late Robert Roden, but he's got scars on his face because he was created by Dr. Lang. Well, that was it was his idea on how to do it. Well, that's all I'll say. But finally, Adam gets his mate. He can't have Nancy Barrett, Carolyn Stoddard, because she doesn't love him like that. So they create a mate for him. And of course, I don't have to tell you that Adam's mate, her name is Eve, wonderfully played by uh, Marie Wallace, who we just saw at the Lyndhurst Mansion back in July. And he's having a discussion because it's now fall time, 1968. They don't refer to the year. They don't refer to any events. They never on Dark Shadows celebrate any holiday. There's no TVs. There's no bathrooms. People get held in a room and stuff like that. And, obviously you wonder, well, where would they go to the bathroom? Where would they freshen up and all that? Um, they don't deal with all of that. They don't deal with all of that. But he was talking to Eve about fall, and he says, "I can't believe they named the season after the fact that leaves fall from the tree." I thought that was funny. I thought that was funny. Of course, he did mention autumn. Autumn is such a pretty word, isn't it? Autumn. Tomorrow's service is supposed to be held at the new church. Have you heard that for sure? I mean, that word's supposed to always. I didn't get that announcement. Everybody hear that? I will check it out right now. I will check it out right now because I thought the creek was close to where they are now. I know there's a brook behind them. Okay, looks like. Um, yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for doubting you, Darlene. Pastor Bob Joyce has placed a note on the door at the 5601 Salt Creek location to let everyone know Household of Faith Church worship service will be in uh, the new location, 8408 Samples Road. Hey, we have a Samples here. I bet you're happy about that. Samples Road, Benton, Arkansas, 72019 on this Sunday, 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. That's Central Time. It's affectionately nicknamed the Barn. 8408 Samples Road was originally intended to be a stable for horses, so it never really was, before being completely redesigned as the new location for Household of Faith Church with Pastor Bob. Parking has been greatly increased, and the seating capacity is now over 250. it, it keeps going down. Now we've got more than 50 more seats than we used to have if you combine the sanctuary and the fellowship hall. And so you just put that in your GPS. You put that in your GPS. I'm looking at some aerial views of it. If you're traveling on I-30, take exit 118 north on Congo Road for about 3 miles. Turn right onto Salem Road and then left onto Samples Road. Take Samples Road a little over 1 mile to the long driveway, just like at Graceland, for 8408 Samples Road for Household of Faith. If you reach Zuber Road, you have just passed the driveway for the church. Parking traffic moves to the right. The doors open at 9 a.m. We apologize in advance if our parking or seating are full at the time you visit. Well, if they're full at the time you visit, that'll mean they'll be full in the church. Yeah, they say we apologize in advance. if our parking or seating are full at the time of your visit. So that means they did not construct any kind of an overflow room, apparently. So that's a major thing. And that will become a real problem that will not be ignored. It's like Glenn Close, I'm not going to be ignored. That's a problem. That's a problem. Um, Pastor Bob Joyce has announced that Sunday, August 31st, will be the annual designated Sunday for baptisms. Baptisms will take place after the sermon in a nearby creek. Pastor Bob, don't they have any lakes there? Pastor Bob Joyce baptizes by immersion in water, correct, based upon profession of faith in Jesus Christ and in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Baptisms will be at Taylor Creek on Mulberry Road. We have Mulberry Street here, about a half mile northwest of the Salt Creek Road Church building. Uh-huh. There's a parking lot along Mulberry Road and a short walk down to the creek area. It is recommended that you bring a dry set of clothes, a towel, and that you have a dark shirt and dark shorts. I understand. Longer pants or jeans for the time in the in the water. Some type of footwear for the water would good in case there's rocks or anything sharp in the walking area. Is there a sign-up sheet? There is not an early sign-up sheet. This is, I think, kind of a last-minute kind of thing. There is not an early sign-up list or any kind of registration required. In the past, a sign-up sheet was not needed. All who came for baptism were served. So there you go. There's the information. And what's your thoughts, everybody? What's your thoughts? They said August, and they just made it by one day. They just made it. I mean, last year they were saying August, and I thought, well, seems like you could get it done before that, and they did, but then they had to, work on using the new equipment and what have you. So there you go. Hi, Patrick Wilburn. Good evening, everybody. Peace and love. Peace and love. Sandra Fair. Hi, Patrick. Jack, I can't find a post from Katie about it at the Pastor Bob Joyce official group about the service at the new church. Well, she did that maybe um, on her Facebook page or the church Facebook page, but this would be now what's on the church, what's on the church website, bobjoyce.org would supersede that, because it's now new information. I'm sure, though, on her personal page, she announced it too. That would seem to be logical. Hi, Vinny. Here you are. Howdy, all. I was listening, doing other things. Nice to see you. Nice to see you, Vinny. Welcome to Worldwide Ramblings, Labor Day weekend edition already. And see, Vinny, you're getting a fan club now. You're getting a fan club. So, well, that's exciting news. It's going to be a challenge because first of all, don't get there at 10 minutes to 9, don't get there at 10 minutes to 9. From what I see here, there's no reason for me to think, especially in warmer weather. Of course, we're going into the fall now, maybe a little less traffic, but the audience that comes don't usually, they're not bound by their young kids being in school, that kind of thing. So might be easier in January and February, but people were lining up at 6:30 at the old church. So because they didn't want to be in the overflow room, but anyone who showed up after 8 or so was almost guaranteed to be in the overflow room. So keep that in mind, keep that in mind. If you're coming from a long way, whether it be New Jersey or another country, You just, this is, it's kind of like a Trump rally, as Gene Ho has said. It's kind of like a Trump rally. You have to get there early. You have to get there early. So don't get there at 5 to 9 and be surprised. It's going to, as Gene said, really nothing has been solved. Nothing has been solved, except there's a beautiful, nice sanctuary now, and everybody, well, upwards of 250 or over, can be can can get in, but there apparently is no overflow room. And what do you say about this? The Lord will lead Pastor Bob Joyce in what to do, because that just doesn't work. Not when you have international people coming in. Doesn't work. Doesn't work. But they did a beautiful job. Let's see some positive stuff. They did a beautiful job on that sanctuary, from what I see. From what I see, and um, it's always a challenge. It's always a challenge when you are trying to increase your seating. Um, and we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. It will be a problem that cannot be ignored. Um, it won't be able to be ignored, and I don't think Pastor Bob Joyce would want it to be ignored. You know, if um, if it's inadequate, it's inadequate. Um, Something else has to be done. There's plenty of properties for rent. Plenty of properties for rent, because that'll be the future youth space, right? That'll be turned into where the youth pastor, the future youth pastor, potentially will hold court. Um, oh, I think there'll be parking won't be the issue. Seating potentially, I don't even think we have to even say potentially will be, because as they describe it, and even back when I did the interview with George Magazine, not with George Magazine, the print, but the on the website. I did the interview with Gene Ho. He said Jack Willard speaks on the Bob Joyce phenomenon. So it was phenomenon back then, and it's more of a phenomenon now. Um, that's YouTube is a powerful force, but Pastor Bob Joyce draws people in. The Holy Spirit then has an opportunity to speak to the person's heart if it's open. Uh, if the person coming to church is coming with a heart that is available for the wooing of the Holy Spirit. So there you go. There's 66 watching right now and 27 likes. Yes, please hit the like button, hit the notification bell, and that would be swell. And Nancy says, the Lord already did tell Pastor what to do, and I trust God knows what he is doing. Well, the way Pastor Bob put it, he kind of indicated that, what am I trying to say? That if the church is full, he'll pray about it, and the Lord will tell him what to do at that point. He said something like that. I think there'll be more than 255 people coming. I think there will be, and so we shall see. Wouldn't it be something if a perfect number of people came every Sunday? You'd say, God is really in this. God is really in this. Um, but it's like in Christianity, some were sent and some just went. We got a lot that just went, that kind of had a self-appointed ministry and expected God to bless that. And that's not the way God works. Good night, Brenda. I hope you're doing okay. Good night, Jack. All be safe, everyone. Happy holiday. Thank you, thank you, thank you. What time did Darlene show up? Yes, I was there at 6 a.m., 6 to 6:15 a.m. I've heard that story before. I've heard that story before. Um, Lovely Rita Maid is here as well. And let's see here. I think I've got everybody. Hope you're doing okay, Miles. And I hope Judy's okay. Didn't even realize it was a holiday weekend, Vinny. Sometimes as we get older, the holidays don't feel like holidays anymore, because our schedule has changed. Um, I know Andy often asks what day of the week it is. He doesn't work, but he does work. He works for the guys next door and the other next door, and does a lot of things. So it's not like he's always playing video games on the computer. But yes, it is Labor Day weekend. Been off for so long from surgery, all the days blending together. Yeah. That happens to me sometimes now that I'm semi-retired, you know. I'll think it's Saturday and it's Friday, that kind of thing. I'll have to think about it for a little bit or grab my phone, because things do change. Basically, the retirement experience. There's that little crash, and then instantly we are back. Seems to be a regular feature, coming a little earlier in the show than it usually does. But when you watch the replay, um, they do a beautiful edit. And there is a chance to run a commercial there if they want to, of course. But it's a beautiful edit. And that's cool. That's cool. Um, so what was I saying? It's not so much buffering, then it's a temporary crash. So it takes me a couple of seconds, but it used to take me a lot longer. Sometimes we had to do a whole second stream and you lose people. But usually when it's that brief, we hold the audience, and we did 69 watching right now and 33 likes. I did work till I suffered 2 strokes. Were they mini strokes or big strokes? And Vinny, so I don't want to ask you what. Oh, here come the fire department. I don't know if you can hear that on the mic or not. Can you? Yeah, it does happen. It does happen. Sometimes it feels good when it happens. I don't know what kind of surgery you have. I do have an acquaintance that's going to have open heart surgery this coming week, but I don't want to say anything yet about that. But I do have an acquaintance that's going to have open heart surgery, and very, it's something on my mind. That's something on my mind. I'll find out if I can mention that. Um, yeah, strokes can be mild to very serious. That's for sure. Um, Good thoughts and prayers going out to one of my favorite Fox anchors, John Roberts, who in mid broadcast, and I wasn't watching him. I often do see John and come on, Sandra. I often do see them 1 to 3 p.m. East Coast time on Fox News. I do often catch part of the broadcast or a good part of it. Often the president of the United States is interrupting them with a cabinet meeting, or he's answering questions. He's always on. He's done so much of that. So much of that. More emergency vehicles coming. Um, going by, going by the house. Um, Good night, Gloria Drummond. I'm glad you stopped by. Uh, I'm going to bed now, so love you all. Have a sweet Jesus night. Sleep. Yes. I hate when I have a bad dream night. Doesn't happen too often, though. My daughter that had a heart transplant is doing well, thanks to all that prayed for her. Thank you, Sandra. Well, that's good. I guess with modern medicine, we see more success with heart transplants certainly than we would have seen in the 60s or even the 70s into the 80s, right? They figured it out, and that's great. That's great. I hope she has a long life, a long life. So, John Roberts, all of a sudden on the air. Sandra is in New York, and John is in Washington D.C. And all of a sudden on the air, he's just all of a sudden getting the shivers, tremendous shivers. Who goes? Who goes on vacation to Indonesia? It wasn't even a news assignment, I think. Was it Indonesia? Anyway, they had to pull him off the air and they had to get an ambulance and get him to the hospital. And he had a bad case of malaria. The doctor at the hospital said to him, I've never treated malaria before. It'll be new to me. uh, uh, mosquito bite. John Roberts was quoted as saying, I never do something halfway. I have to go all the way with it. So he had a bad case of malaria. And, I don't know what the death rate is for that or anything like that. I just know I love John Roberts. He's just, I've been watching him since the days when he was on CBS, and then he was the morning host on CNN before they became the Communist News Network, and then eventually he downgraded himself to just being a correspondent, just to be on Fox. And then he became the White House correspondent. And then a few years ago, they said, John, it's time to return to the anchor chair. Would you like to sit in an air conditioned studio instead of being out there with the White House reporters and everything? Would you like to do that? And he said, I'm ready to go back. Hi, Carmen Sylvia. We're using your Manuka honey from New Zealand, only from New Zealand, Manuka honey, right? Am I right? Am I right? Karen's using that instead of the antibiotic Neosporin. She can use either one, but the doctor gave her a sample of the healing Manuka honey made in New Zealand, and um, Suzanne Summers Productions. Suzanne is not with us anymore, but her widower husband, Al, who's now dating Joanna Cassidy, who's well into his 80s, and the son of Suzanne Summers. They're running the company, and Manuka honey is one of their big products. Karen has Manuka honey. She had it before. But this kind of Manuka honey that she's using now, I'm actually using because I'm putting it on her scar in the back of her neck. Is supposed to be. It's a darker color and it's like a healing salve. So I always think of you when she says, Manuka honey from New Zealand. Carmen Sylvia has a YouTube channel right here. Welcome, Katina Swatsworth. Hello, Jack and everyone. What's going on with Patrick? I can miss things. Ask people to pray for my uncle. He's going to have open heart surgery this coming week. Perhaps. Yeah, I know they do it routinely and what have you, but it's a scary thing. I'll be talking to see how much I can say about this. I don't want to violate that, but it is someone, that it's not my son or anything like that, but it is someone that I know. So let's see, Rita. Yes, I see you saying good night to Gloria. Am I right? Am I right? Am I right? Reminds me of the insurance salesman, Ned Ryerson. That's where I'm getting it from. You're absolutely spot on, Vinny. Spot on. My son and I joke about Ned the Head all the time from Groundhog Day. How many times have I seen Ned Ryerson and Bill Murray in a movie he should have won something for? He should have won. They just don't give it to comedians. But the movie is so popular that he should have at least been nominated. He should have been nominated for Best Actor in that movie because it's a legendary movie, that people watch over and over again. Um, love that movie, says Vinny. Me too. Um, love What About Bob? Was was not happy to hear that Richard Dreyfuss didn't get along with him at all, uh, and called him a bully, really. And you don't be a bully to Richard Dreyfuss. He's iconic. Bill Murray has some hit movies, obviously. Even Meatballs was a hit, I guess. But What About Bob? And more than anything, Groundhog Day, and there's a few others like Lost in Translation. He's done a lot better than they thought he ever would. A lot better than they thought he would, and it seemed like they had a great relationship in What About Bob? But really, what it was Richard Dreyfuss was using his hatred for Bill Murray to uh, to work for him in the role, to work for him in the role of just pretending that he liked his patient, Bob, who would show up when the doctor was on vacation or whatever. It was just good stuff. It was good stuff, but apparently it was not a pleasant experience for Richard Dreyfuss, but he's so good that you'd never know it. You'd never know it. Um, Bruce Willis is now in a new home, not far from his beautiful mansion home. They found another home, and they turned it basically into a hospital for Bruce as he now has dementia. He is not mobile anymore and not verbal, and but still seems to recognize people. And they go have breakfast with him, they have dinner with him, and what have you. But when it gets to the point with dementia, when I know this happened with Glenn Campbell, for example, when they start to get violent, you have to have professionals that know how to deal with that, and because it's just too much. Hello, Gayla Brown. How are you? Welcome to Worldwide Ramblings for Saturday, August 30th. August 30th. And I love all of Bruce Willis's movies. The last few that he did, his roles I noticed were smaller and smaller, and didn't require much from him. My favorite Bruce Willis movie, without a doubt, is The Sixth Sense. The Sixth Sense. You don't get any better than that. Um, these were relatively new filmmakers that wanted an A-list movie star, but couldn't afford to pay him anything. So they said, we probably won't get him, we probably won't get him. Um, but he looked at the script, and he knew this was going to be good, and that he would be able to work it, as he does so beautifully in that Joel Osment. What's his first name? It's not Haley. It's not Haley Joel Osment, is it? The kid. I see dead people. I see dead people. But he said, "Well, I'll tell you what. I'll take a percentage. I'll take a percentage. You can't afford to pay me. I can't do it for nothing. I'll take a percentage, whatever it was. it made Bruce Willis millions and millions of dollars because the film stayed number one forever. People didn't tell the secret to their friends. They wanted them to have the same experience they did, and then they would go to the movie again with them. I mean, how many times have you seen The Sixth Sense? I've seen it many times, and it's just watching a master actor work his craft, work his craft as he did all the way back on Moonlighting. He was great on Moonlighting. We knew right away. You know, right away when you see Bruce Willis in a TV show that he's going to be a big movie star. And you knew that with Denzel Washington when he was on Saint Elsewhere. You knew it right away. That's why he refused to do Battle of the Network Stars when one of his co stars, long forgotten, said, "Why don't you come and do that?" He said, "I'm sorry, but no, I won't do that. Movie stars don't do Battle of the Network Stars." And they said, "Well, yeah, but Denzel, you're not a movie star. You're not a movie star." And he said, "But I'm gonna be." When you know, you know, you know, and it's really good if you believe in yourself like that. It's really good. Um, we were all blessed. We were all fortunate. I totally understand. I'm trying to let's see. Yes, I was hoping you would be here. I miss saying goodbye. Hmm. Oh, hi, darling. That's who. Okay. You met up at Household of Faith, did you? Hope you had an incredible birthday. Very, very good. That's right. We did. I think we sang to you. I'm pretty sure we did, Darlene. Um, Intense, wasn't it, Vinny? That movie? It was very, very intense. The kind of movie I don't mind, like Groundhog Day and other movies, Forrest Gump. But I'm still upset with Bruce. I'm still upset with Tom Hanks. I never realized that all the time I was loving Tom Hanks. He would have said to me, you know, that I don't want any part of you, you MAGA Republican, you. Yeah, MAGA Republican. You don't even want to shake a black person's hand. You'll pull away. To portray MAGA Republicans like that was just a ripoff. So ta ta, Tom Hanks. 86 million, 88 million people just said, maybe I won't see your latest project. Oh dear. So yeah, that's what we have here, a family that hooks up and um has a good time. Please be careful on your motorcycle. Are you speaking to my buddy? Is he here? I'm just looking. Who's riding the motorcycle? Really cool. Rhonda Robinson's not riding one, is she? I'm watching, but on my motorcycle. Yeah, it's her. Um, Unless she's using someone else's handle. Um, on my way to work. So you're listening to me on a motorcycle. Just wanted to say hello. I appreciate that. Really cool, Rhonda Robinson. Please be careful and watch out for those Generation XYZ and others and others. Please be careful. I don't want to say anything more. You're driving. I don't want to distract you or say anything more. About that. Hello, Angelo. Welcome. What you been doing? What's going on this Labor Day weekend? We have 63 watching. Nice to have you all aboard here. And we're just kind of lay back tonight, talking about favorite movies. What's your favorite movie? Sometimes we talk about favorite songs. Carmen Sylvia loves Harleys too. Oh, dear. Well, that's the standard, right? The standard is a Harley. I mean, Kawasaki makes the good times roll, but come on now. uh, yeah, I don't want to say anything. She's on the motorcycle right now. So I'm just, Lord, surround her with your angels, For a hedge of protection, Lord. Keep her safe all her motorcycle travels. I ask this in Jesus' name. Amen. Hmm. I didn't know that about you, Carmen. I didn't know that about you. One time, my niece, who was older than me and still would be, Carol King is her name. Carol King, my niece, Carol King, gave me a short ride when I was like 11 years old on the motorcycle. Um, it wasn't even half a mile, but just a little ride. I was staying with them while my mom was getting well and I was going to say in hospital. That's how they'd say it in the UK. We would put a "the" in there, in the hospital. And so Carol King, my niece, who was older than me, took me on a little ride there. But she is not the Carol King, but she was a great Carol King in her own right. I wonder where she is now. Where are you, Susie and Michael and Patty King? And what about my half sister? I have not been able to find her. Would it be something if she came on, if she was still with us, and she wouldn't be that old? Um, so there you go. Interesting that we don't hear from JCat. We used to hear from quite a bit of JCat, but I never knew that she was a successful creator on the TikTok. Never knew it. And then ever since I mentioned that, I haven't heard from her since. It's really weird. It's weird. It's weird. Trying to do it like Ozzy, it's weird. Robin Roman says, we're just getting home from a long motorcycle ride to Harley Trike relaxing ride. Now, in somewhere here in New York, Paul Tuttle Jr. from Orange County Choppers at one time, he has his own motorcycle designer shop. He has a podcast. You can find that. His brother Mikey joins him sometimes and then goes back to be with his dad out or down in Florida in Clearwater. And I think there's a new season, Paul Sr. now kind of thing, what's happening with him in his new motorcycle shop and what have you. So, unfortunately, Paul Sr. and Paul Jr. don't seem to be have made much progress in their relationship, and that's sad. That's sad. I know what that's like. Um, I know that's no fun, and it's a shame because if I do not forgive someone, um, what they've done to me, no matter what it is, the Lord will not forgive me of my sins. Will not forgive me of my sins. I have no right to hold a grudge. It's much better to talk it out. Um, Parents are not perfect people and that kind of thing. We hopefully grow and learn as we go along. Some sins are particularly persistent and require a lot of work. Um, Duel is my fave movie, says Dodge Ram 01. Tell me about Duel. Who's in it? What's it about? Um, yeah, it's a bummer, Katina. It's a bummer. Um, I know the thing that kept interestingly enough, they canceled Orange County Choppers, which used to shoot 10 miles from here in Montgomery, New York. Um, they canceled it because they thought it was getting kind of played out. Then they realized that there was this budding real life drama of senior versus junior, where they were going to sue each other and it was getting really raw and what have you. And they realized, what are we doing pulling the plug on this show? This is intense. It saved that riff between them, um, uh, gave them another season of Orange County Choppers. And it got pretty intense. It got pretty intense. And what they did is they just film a whole bunch of stuff. And Paul Senior, Paul Junior, and anybody else in that show had zero approval of what they would decide to use. Uh, Sometimes they would slam the door on the cameraman, they would, but most of the time they let it go, and so they never saw any dailies or anything. They never saw it till we all saw it, and since we're living in Orange County, we were partial to watching Orange County Choppers, even though I have, no desire to be on a motorcycle myself. Um, we liked the personalities. And so they would see the show the same time we did at about 8 o'clock on Wednesday night on the Discovery Channel. They would watch right along with us. And they would be astonished at what they saw sometimes themselves. So there was a lot of real in that show. And of course, in any reality show, there's a producer that's talking in your ear. Well, we've got to have some levity now. Or hey, let's what you just said, maybe you could say it better. Maybe you could try saying it this way. Would you do that? Say it this way. It'll have more impact. And so they would have to pretend that it was a first time conversation and redo it and that kind of thing. And that happens on all reality shows. It certainly happens on Moonshiners. People like to say that don't like the show. They're just boiling water out there. There's no real moonshine being made on Moonshiners where it's illegal. South Carolina. Uh, Tennessee, or is that? I know that it's legal. North Carolina, it's legal if you have a license and everything. It's legal, and that's where. Come on, Tim uh, has his moonshine business, but he also pretends to do something with the boys. Katina saying good night. Prayers for everyone. Sweet dreams. Good night, Katina. Thanks for dropping by. I love horror movies. Well, then you've got to go to Chiller Theater in Parsippany, New Jersey, in September because all those C-level movie actors will be there, and I'm sure you'll know some. I'm sure you'll know some. And I feel bad for them because there's a couple of big stars coming, and it's gonna be hard for them to make money when Huey Lewis is showing up. And Huey wasn't in a horror movie, he was in Back to the Future. But 4 people from Back to the Future is coming to Chiller Theater. Huey is one of them. He's the big star. Biff is not coming this time. He's not coming. Michael's not coming, but I think the actress who played the girlfriend of Marty in Back to the Future 1 is coming. The one who played his brother is coming. And oh yeah, he's still alive. The principal is coming. The principal is coming. And Huey Lewis, the 4 of them. That guy was great, right? In all three, was he in 3? He was in 3, right? The principal. I don't know. How would they have gotten him into a Western? I'm not sure. But he is still alive and he will be in Parsippany. And a lot of actors and actresses from these movies that you would know. But Angelo says, get ready for flash floods. Where are you? No flash floods coming here. We're supposed to have a pretty nice fall, actually. Yeah, Jupiter's Realm loves horror movies. I have loved some horror movies, not the real hokey ones, but I have certainly loved Chillers. I've the original version of When a Stranger Calls with Charles Durning as the cop. Excellent, excellent. One of the scariest movies I ever saw was not a horror movie, but it was certainly horrifying, and that was Fire in the Sky. Fire in the Sky, where the boys out there in the pickup truck see the big spaceship in the sky, and they get out there. I think they might even had their guns with them, and they get beamed up, and then they wake up inside the spaceship. Supposedly true encounter, and that was a pretty scary movie. Michael Keaton, the best Batman. Okay, yeah, I love Michael Keaton, so I'm sure. I kind of liked what's his name who played Jim Morrison, who we just lost not that long ago, Val Kilmer. Um, because I also liked obviously seeing Jim Carrey, and of course one of my favorite actors of all times, Tommy Lee Jones. Tommy Lee Jones. There's another mismatch in terms of. I mean, Tommy was great as Two Face. He was great. He had to be campy. He had to, I was surprised he took that role. I was surprised when he took a role playing a gay man, but he likes to do those kind of things and surprise you, Um, a gay man that was affectionate on screen. um, but oh man, Jim Carrey, he's just nonstop. And he was wearing the patience of Tommy Lee Jones. Uh, and he said to Jim Carrey at one point, he said, I'm beginning to have a real problem with your constant buffoonery. Jim Carrey playing the Riddler. He was excellent. Tommy was excellent. Everybody was excellent. I thought Val Kilmer a little young for the role, but dashing as Bruce Wayne. And that's where we met Chris as Robin. And wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. But yeah, I saw some Michael Keaton Batman, and he was great. He was absolutely great. And I have loved his other stuff as well. He probably hates us, though. You find out all these actors hate you. Um, who was the actor I just heard recently? Gave up a, a friendship that he had for many decades when he found out that that his friend was MAGA. Oh, I just heard that story. James from the Department of Redundancy Department. The way the world is in, I do believe, and what they're saying online, that the rapture could be this year, and they are saying September 23rd or the 24th. No one, the Bible is clear, no one knows the day or the hour. We should know the general time frame. So many people. The whole family Christian radio network was destroyed by the founder, Harold Camping, when he made a date when Jesus was coming back. And actually, he had done this before. This time he was very specific to the exact date. And when callers would call him up on his nightly show and they would say, what are you going to say when this doesn't happen? Well, I won't have to say that because that's going to happen. And it didn't. And it was very embarrassing. And, people stopped donating to the station and what have you. Very conservative, kind of reformed theology they were preaching. Kirk Cameron would have liked it. And so you have to be careful. Um, and then, of course, it depends where you stand on the rapture. If you're pre-trib, I'm saying you're pretty close if you haven't already missed the boat with being pre-trib, because I think we're already into pre-trib and we're still here. I haven't noticed uh, Franklin Graham is still here, so he's definitely going. So we're good, right? Um, so I don't know about the pre-trib. Then there's the mid-trib people that think we will be called up to meet the Lord in the air halfway through the tribulation. And then there's the post-trib people. Then there's the don't know which trib people with a leaning towards mid-trib. That's me. But it's just a guess. Watch out with the dates and what have you, because people use that as clickbait. You realize that, right? They used it as clickbait. Everybody is using strange stuff for a clickbait. Um, Dick Van Dyke every other week is having his 100th birthday party, and they got a picture of a cake that he's supposedly holding with a 100 on the cake, and his birthday is in December. Okay, he will be 100 years old in December. So it's all fake. Many times they've had Sean Hannity married with not Ashley, Ainsley Earhart from Fox and Friends in the morning. They have not been married yet. But he says he sees that all the time. And they'll say something wild and outrageous, and they'll say, click the comments to see the story. All BS, all BS. So watch out for that. Hello, Cajun Calvin. Hi, Jack. Don't say that on a plane. How are you? It's your hope for the rapture? Well, I guess we're supposed to be busy as to what the Lord would have us do. And boy, when I say something like that, that's like just socking myself in the face. That's like socking myself in the face. Because I could do a lot better. Well, it would be great, I suppose. It would be great. It's beyond my comprehension, actually. But I know that we're supposed to be. Uh, we have work to do on ourselves, and we have work to do that the Lord would have us do, and we only know that if we have a really serious prayer life. So there you go. I'm just mentioning the clickbait thing because let's face it. Jack Van Impe, I'm not saying he wasn't a true man of God. I'm not. But the guy had dozens and dozens and dozens of video cassettes that you could purchase for 19.99 on the Rapture and, his interpretations of this, that, and the other thing. Who knows how much he was right on? Um, I don't think it's something we're supposed to be preoccupied with, but we're supposed to keep it in our mind, and it's supposed to motivate us to present our whole bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and pleasing to God. Whoops. Now the rubber has met the road. The rubber has met the road. As I often say, for asking for forgiveness is easy peasy. At least it is for me, especially when it comes to going to the Lord and asking for forgiveness. Repentance is a whole other ball game. It's not for sissies. It's not for sissies. Dodge Ram Duel. I'm going to put on some glasses to make it easier. Make it easier on myself. Did I bring the glasses I wanted up? I've got so many cases. I'm quickly becoming like, as I've said before, Fred Sanford and looking through his drawer of glasses. Sanford and Son. Duel is a 1971 American road action thriller film directed by Steven Spielberg. Wow, one of his early films and his feature film debut. It centers on a traveling salesman, Dennis Weaver. Well, I think I might have seen some of that. I think so. I loved Dennis Weaver. Yeah, not just on Gunsmoke, but on his work after Gunsmoke. And I am sure by those two names that you mentioned that it must be good. It must be good. And you think of Death of a Salesman. You think of that famous play. Was it turned into a movie? I think it was. But with that kind of quality that you're working with, it must have been good. I like Jack Van Impe says, Vinny, he was entertaining. Well, that's the thing. Yeah, him and Rexella, his wife Rexella, and that great announcer Chuck, who was always telling you about the hot offer that you just had to have. You know, this guy had $1 million voice, and he knew it. He knew it, just like James Earl Jones, or obviously Mr. Freeman, Morgan Freeman, and many others, many others. Some people just have that uncle voice, that people trust. Ed Asner would have had that. And the guy who played Lou Grant's boss on the Lou Grant 1 hour show, Mason Adams, I think. Mason Adams. He was the guy that said, with a name like Smuckers, it's got to be good. He got paid a lot of money for 30-second spots doing Smuckers because he was so believable, and that's what Cracker Barrel has lost with these woke people. They need to go. Marty Greco, talking about motorcycles. Marty Greco is here. Your picture's here somewhere. How are you, Jack and everyone? Long time no see. We're glad you're back, Marty Greco. Yeah, there's been a few people that have left the fold, or um, you know, they're just in a busy time in their life. You expect that that'll happen, and new people come in. But I remember, I'm always glad to see when somebody comes back that we haven't seen from in a while. Jack sure knew the Bible, and Jackie sure knew the Bible inside out. Yeah, he could. He memorized many, many passages of Scripture, and but keep in mind, he did see those. To be fair, he did see the questions that she was going to pose to him in advance, and if he had time to work up a response. This was not live. This was going out on secular TV stations too, so he had time to make sure he was ready for the question. And I don't fault that. I don't fault that. I'm working now. You're taking what they're giving because you're working for a living, or are you working for yourself? And what kind of a boss are you, Marty? Do you find yourself getting mad at yourself? I'm working now when you are on. I just am home from work. I see. That's what Jody says a lot, that she's just got off of work. So we'll see if she pops in. But yeah, you're still a young man there, Marty. So you're still working. Not everybody is of a certain age. So that's good. Are you being safe? We've had some horror stories this year around here. 21-year-old a few days ago. So that's why I worry. I worry. I'm retired and still working. Well, did you? No, why am I going to ask a personal question like that? Did you take Social Security early, or are you going to wait? I would have waited if I knew what was coming. I'll tell you that. Um, and I didn't, because I didn't read all the paperwork. What was etched in stone back in the year 2000. I'm 67. Okay. So I'm a few years older than you. In about 7 months, I will be 70 years old, which is just unfathomable. Unfathomable. But I want to be, because I always feel like I'm not ready to meet the Lord yet. Oh, that was his last name, Chuck Oman. Okay. Neo is here. Where you been? Cloud Tens. What is he right? Um, who would go see a movie they didn't know what the title meant? Cloud Tens. Nikolai Carpathia was frightening. What in the heck are you talking about? Who would put that in the title? I mean, I don't know. Strange. You look great for your age, though, Jack. Well, thank you. Dick Van Dyke looks good for a man who will turn 100 in December. He hasn't done it already, no matter how many times they say it on Facebook. Okay. Okay. Am I right? Am I right? Yeah, that is Ned Ryerson. Absolutely a great character. Great character in Groundhog Day. Huh. And it's amazing how fast the time goes, how fast the time goes. And Neo sending me a Cracker Barrel parody. I'll take a look at that. I'll take a look at that. Nanette hits the Cash App for $10. I mean, yeah, the Cash App for $10. Thank you very, very much. Oh dear. Oh dear. So thank you, Nanette. The Cash App. I'm only going to say it one time unless somebody didn't get it. Lowercase letters Media Guy 56, which is lowercase MEDIAGUY 56. Media Guy 56. If you have Cash App available to you or want to load it from your checking account, kind of thing. I use it, never had a problem. So thank you, Nanette, for hitting the Cash App. And thank you, Vinny. Thank you, Vinny, for hitting the Cash App for $50. You were right. You have a fan club. My goodness. We have these breakout stars sometimes, you know. So Vinny hits the Cash App again for $50, man. I hope it's within your budget. Thank you again, Elaine, for hitting the Cash App. Very, very nice. Um, this is our biggest month of the year. Of course, it's the summer, and I guess that's kind of what happens. Winter is a little harder once you get past Christmas, which is usually a good month, of course. Um, so thank you very, very much, Vinny. I appreciate that. I appreciate Elaine and Nanette, and it's not Nanette Fabre. She's still alive? I don't know, but I can't thank you enough. That just helps me out tremendously in many, many ways. Trying to catch up, and I don't mean Heinz ketchup, although that's what I would choose. I would choose Heinz ketchup over Hunt's. I have to be honest. ah, so yeah, that's the story, Dory. That's the story. There's wow, we jumped up. No, we didn't. 50. 50 watching and 45 likes. Thank you for hitting the like button. When you hit the like button, if you like something, don't do it if you don't like anything. It helps us, I think, be seen by more people. The grand total of likes helps and everything for the year and all that. At the end of the year, I'll get a readout of how many likes, how many subscribers we got, how many subscribers have come on in recent months, maybe 670. It's been pretty good. So it's boosted 670 or more, boosted us into over 11,000 now. We're on our way to 12,000. That'll probably take a while, and I'm okay with it. I'm fine that I don't expect to have 225,000 or more. I'm happy with being what God has given me, which is uh, can I be a small fish? I don't know. I'm a small fish. I ain't no guppy. You know what I'm saying? But I'm a small fish, figuratively speaking, in a very big pond, and I'm going to drown. No, sometimes it's felt like that, but people hold me up, and I appreciate that so much. Whether it's $1.99, 99 cents, or whatever it is, and never give when it's not in your budget. I love the James Bond movies, says Carmen Sylvia. So, who was your favorite Bond, Carmen? Who was your favorite? See, I was never a big Bond person, but I love Goldfinger. As a kid, I loved Goldfinger with that guy throwing his hat. I love that. Sean Connery was great. And I saw at least one with Roger Moore. Timothy Dalton, I don't think I did. Um, but the more recent guy, no, I don't think I saw any. Um, so there you go. Thanks again, Katina, for stopping by. I want Jesus to return so bad, says Elaine Peterson. I'm just enjoying watching him work through the muck and the mire that has been cast upon America and other countries as well. There are things I don't understand. Those poor two children from the Catholic school in Minneapolis. When you see their pictures, it was even more heartbreaking. And I did see the video. I did see the video that this guy posted. I did see the video. I don't know when that was publicly posted, because I would think if anybody saw that, they quickly would have called the police and what have you. but this guy was really mentally sick, very, very sick. Um, and the his mother has already got herself a defense attorney and what have you. She's a former school teacher. Little Dixie Diggers. Good night, Elaine Peterson. Well, thank you, Elaine, for stopping by. Frequently hits the Cash App before the show even starts. And she's just a real blessing. Don't feel you have to do it. Don't ever feel you have to, please. Helen McDonald is here. Hi, Jack. Just came inside and had a nice surprise to see you Sunday afternoon here in Australia. Say hello to Jackie Organ if she's still with us. Well, you know her by now. You've talked, right? I think you've talked. And there's other Australian people that come in from time to time. We've had our share. And let's see. Jack, you should send out a YouTube alert for upcoming reminders are nice. Yeah, I know there's different ways to do it. I did a promo video today, and I forgot to wait at the very beginning. When I'm doing it on my phone, I can't start speaking when it says you're live. I've got to, like count to 10 and then start speaking because the first thing I said is we'll be live tonight at 10 p.m. East Coast time. The usual time for Worldwide Ramblings is Wednesday and Saturday nights at 10 p.m. But I'm always aware that we need to pop on other times or even schedule other times because it doesn't work for everybody. 10 o'clock Saturday night, there's different time zones. It's in the afternoon right now in Australia. It's in the morning time in the UK, right? Early morning time in the UK. So I try to do a promo, but I know there's other ways to do it. You think Roger Moore was the best? He certainly was suave, wasn't he? Suave, suave, suave. Timothy Dalton had 2 Bond movies, says Neo. George Lazenby got 1. Who the heck is that? Yeah, they both made a great Bond. Now, is that the real name of someone who has a stage name? Because George Lazenby does not ring a bell. All the Bond actors are great. It's not my kind of movie, so I'm certainly not an expert in that. Oh, yeah, there it is. Pierce Brosnan. Yeah, I did see a little bit of him as Bond. Of course, loved him in the Mamma Mia films and other things as well, like Mrs. Doubtfire. That was great. He's a great actor, Pierce Brosnan, and he was born for a role like that, right? He's getting on in years now, but in his prime, he was born to be Bond. Born to be alive. Born to be alive. So there you go. I was a little worried in the first 20 minutes of the program because I came on admitting that I hadn't prepared a lot for this one. We talked about the meaning of Labor Day. Anybody want to share? Feel free to do that. But we shared that in the beginning, and then it was like, okay, he who preaches being prepared that didn't prepare for this one. Now see what'll happen. And without the magic words in the title, I can already tell you it's an uphill battle. But I don't mind. Let's give Pastor Bob a rest sometime. Although we did major content about the fact that the church opens tomorrow at 9 a.m. Central Time, and there's somewhere over 250 seats. It seems like the number keeps going down. And first it was 300, then it went to 260. Now it's over 250. So, and that they don't have any, at this point, they don't have any B plan if you get there and the church has no seating, So That'll be a fun job at the door. That'll be a fun job. I don't think I'd want that job. One of those guys with the earpieces will have that job. Earpieces. Ah, huh, I have never heard of George. I have never heard of him. Known for his role as James Bond, um, in On Her Majesty's Secret Service. I missed all of this one. He was an Australian, only made one Bond movie. What year? I believe I like Pierce Brosnan. Still a very handsome man. He is. He is. Yeah. Hello, Miss Carter. Labor Day, September 1st is my birthday. Really? Very, very cool. Um, uh, it's coming quick. Monday is coming quick. The last day of summer here. That's how we say it in the United States, even though it's really the 21st of September. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Susan Carter. Happy birthday to you. God bless you. And many more. Many more. One of our loyal, loyal people there, Susan Carter. Wonderful. Wonderful. The new guy is good too, and the queen in it. Nathan Lane is in a Bond film. I'm just joking. I'm just joking. I love Nathan Lane. Love him, love him, love him. He was so convincing in the Birdcage movie, you know? He just seemed to know how to play that role. Oh, he's so good that he made that movie about chasing a mouse through the whole film. Remember that movie? He's chasing a mouse, trying to get rid of a mouse the whole movie, and it was a big hit movie. That's how good Nathan Lane is. Of course, Karen remembers him from Lust in the City or Sex in the City or whatever. Um, but I'll tell you, the ninth episode, and I'm not going to say too much, but if you look online, you can see it. The ninth episode of Dexter Resurrection was the best of the 10, and there's been some good ones. There was one or two that was a little weird, a little too far-fetched for me. But what's the actor's name? He's a short person, and he's the one who works the most, who's done a million different things. What's his name? Um, he is playing the sort of the villain. Yeah, he's playing the villain. You could say that in Dexter Resurrection, all shot in New York City. Um, he's phenomenally good. And this ninth episode is great and an iconic character that uh, that we saw in episode one of Dexter many years ago is killed off in Dexter 9. And it's just a powerful, powerful thing. I don't think that this is interesting that Michael Hall had to act when he looked at him with tears in his eyes and said, "I'm sorry, sorry," um, because I'm sure they had been pretty close throughout the years, the first 13 seasons of Dexter. Um, I don't know that he had much to do in New Blood. Maybe one time he appeared, but he's in Resurrection, the actor, and seeing the end of his reign. But of course, as has happened before on Dexter, you can always come back in the imagination of Dexter Morgan. You can always come back as a ghost. Powerful episode, and one more to go. And uh, I don't know what that word means, Neil. I should, but I don't. Um, But the ratings have been phenomenal for Paramount, for Showtime, for Dexter Resurrection, phenomenal. So they're probably already starting to write the scripts for the second season. Michael C. Hall has put no limit on how long he will do this. Everybody knows that no matter how the story seems to go, um, he's not going to get killed off. They tried that once. They made you think he was killed off. They thought he was killed off, and then the fans said, "If you don't bring the show back, we're going to be outside your door. You can't make us wait a number of years for the return of Dexter, then kill him off in Dexter New Blood. No, we won't accept that." So they knew they had to bring it back. They found the obvious way to do that. So Lassie and you say some weird words, buddy. Lassie and Veller, whatever, Veleris actress was in Sex in the City. Um, so many actors were in Sex in the City. Everybody from David Duchovny, Why Don't You Love Me, to the guy who plays Dexter's father, Ghost, in both in Dexter Resurrection and in 13 seasons of Dexter originally. James Ramir, whatever. He played Richard Wright in Sex in the City. I think that's correct. And Carrie, was it Carrie or Samantha? Yeah, it was. I think it was Carrie Bradshaw um, that was in love with him. No, it was Samantha. It was Samantha. Yeah, I just saw the scene. I like Samantha best. She didn't do the reboot except for maybe a phone call. Her voice. And just like that, years and years went by, and we're all now old people like our parents were. Amazing, isn't it? It's just amazing. Little Dixie Digger says there is a new movie coming out this fall called Boris is Dead. Dane Cook. My son and I were just talking about how Dane Cook went from being, for a little while, the number one stand up comedian in the country to almost non existence. But that only means we haven't seen what he's been doing. That's all that means. And that he hasn't maintained his superstar status that he held for a year or two. There's a new movie coming out this fall called Boris is Dead. Dane Cook is the main actor. It was filmed in Kansas City, Missouri. I bought the police interceptor utility that was on the movie. Huh, interesting. That's cool. He was certainly good in Mr. Brooks. Dane Cook, one of my favorite movies of all times. What is it about these serial killers, right? I don't want to be one, but I enjoy a good serial killer actor. And Kevin Costner was excellent. Dane Cook did his job to perfection, but he had to face major talent, not only um, um, with the star, but also with William Hurt, who was the voice in Mr. Brooks, Kevin Costner's head. So that kind of talent is, and then what's her name? The former Miss Bruce Willis, Mrs. Bruce Willis there. You know who I mean? The striptease woman. She was in that movie too. We're now the old timers. It's true, Elaine Peterson. I knew you couldn't really leave. We are now the old timers, and it's just the weirdest thing, you know. I mean, I can't. I used to just think of on the playground at St. Joseph's, and Karen was on that same playground, not hanging with me, but she was there in the 60s. We were in the same classroom. I used to think, well, gee, this is 1967. How old would I be in 2000? 46. Well, that's not too bad. That's not too bad. But now I'm looking at 70, and it's so weird. It's just so strange. Carrie like Big, yes, wonderfully played by what's his name, who eventually in the reboot um, died on an exercise machine. And then stuff came out about him, and it piled up on him a little bit. Um, how much was true, how much wasn't true, how much was exaggerated, you know. He was good in Forrest Gump too, wasn't he? Had a nice role in Forrest Gump. Um, when Forrest, not Forrest Gump, I'm sorry, Cast Away, not Castaway. He wasn't a castaway on any plane. He was supposed to be on the plane, but when the plane went down, Tom Hanks was cast away from the people he loved, namely Helen Hunt. Helen Hunt. And Mr. Big played, what the heck is his name? Tell me his name. He played her. He would marry Helen Hunt when it was assumed that the character Tom Hanks played was lost at sea. Yeah. Good night, Jack and all. Thank you, Darlene. God bless you. Glad you stopped by. We'll tell your story in a pre-recorded video soon. And so that's so where we are now. Jerry Bridges watched Birdcage many times, right? It's like so many other Robin Williams films. How many times have we seen Mrs. Doubtfire? I have not seen Dead Poet Society more than once. I did see it and it was very good. The Awakening, saw that more than once because an actor that I kind of actually worked with here in this area that was from this area, the man of La Mancha himself, Mr. Richard Kiley, was in The Awakening, playing the guy who would decide whether the doctor Robin was playing got to keep his medical license, Richard Kiley could do anything. And when he came to our rehearsals when we were doing The Wizard of Oz, Bobby Reed knew him. He lived in Warwick, New York. And he had just done a medical center and was doing all kinds of things, TV, movies, and everything. Did a Woody Allen movie. When he came to watch us and got up on the stage with us, and he's dressed like an actor with the corduroy brown pants. It's winter time, and he's got the corduroy brown pants, the cool looking shoes, the jacket, and the sweater and the shirt. He just looked like you knew he was an actor. And he said, "Now why don't you try this? Instead of doing that, do this, And then later on, he starred in the Middletown variety show that would happen at the high school every year, Benefit, and he was the star. And again, I'm getting direction from Richard Kiley, us and the other guys who were playing newsboys from the 40s. And Richard Kiley is giving us some tips, which were contrary to the director's tips. But he's gonna listen to Richard Kiley, of course. And it was just so cool then to tune in the night after he was at our rehearsals for The Wizard of Oz, where I played the Tin Man. The next night, I got to tune in Medical Center with Chad Everett. Anybody remember that? And Richard Kiley was the big star of the night. That was really cool. Cool, cool, cool. He said, "Watch me on Medical Center tomorrow night." Yeah, it's just a great movie. What can we say? Gene Hackman, huh? Phenomenally great in The Birdcage, Nathan Lane, and of course Robin himself. Miss Furnesky, am I saying it right? She's such a big actress these days. From The Gilded Age, Karen's favorite show, even more than the reboot of Sex and the City. And just like that, she gets excited about The Gilded Age, so we had to get HBO Max. But now, just like Dexter is going to be going off now, they filmed all 10 episodes. It'll be a while. It'll be sometime in 2026 before The Gilded Age and Dexter Resurrection return. But I love to watch the episodes more than once. Life goes by too fast, says Rita. There's truth to that. And we waste so much time. We waste so much time. Susan Fenner agrees, and she's here. Hello, 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 Sue Fenner, 47, watching right now. And good night, Jack and all. Yeah, I said that already. Demi Moore, right? Demi Moore. Big fan of Demi Moore. She's always good. She was certainly good in Mr. Brooks. She was, well, I'm not going to say I saw that striptease movie. I don't watch naughty movies too much. Let's talk about something else. I'm like minutes away from reading scripture, which is just shows you that I need a checkup from the neck up, Vinny. I need a checkup from the neck up. I do, I do, I do. I I do want I do want courage. I do want courage, or whatever he said. What a wonderful actor, huh? Bert Lahr. I've been on Google Maps and saw the 360 view of the crossroad in the end of Castaway, where he was lost. Looks a lot different now. Huh. Well, that's Fiji, right? They approached they approached the owners of the island in Fiji, wherever this island was in Fiji, and they explained what they wanted to do and that it was a very unusual movie because they would shoot for a number of months and then they would break for a year. They would break for a year because Tom Hanks would have to go from a very chubby um, uh, uh, FedEx manager into looking buffed, and he would have to have a long hair and beard, and they didn't want to fake it. They wanted to give him time to do this and mentally prepare for the second part of the movie. So they explained all this, and they got permission, and they signed the deal for whatever money for them to be able to do uh, part one, and then come back a year later and finish Castaway. So one of my favorite movies. One of my favorite movies. I can't pretend because Tom Hanks hates all conservatives, that especially those who call themselves MAGA, that that I don't adore a number of his movies, including Catch Me If You Can, huh? Oh, Leo is so good. Tom is so good. And of course, yeah, Mr. Christopher Walken, phenomenal. That's awful. I realize that, Jupiter's Realm. I realize it. Hmm. What shows have we got coming around here for entertainment distraction? Peter Noon is going to be in Kingston on the 1st of November with the Grassroots, but Rob Grill, the lead singer, has passed away. So it'll be somebody else singing those lead songs. But there'll be an original member or two. And then the next day, they're in Binghamton, New York. They're in Binghamton. I've seen them at the Paramount Theater, the theater downtown, twice already. See, I kind of know what the show is, but I always enjoy Peter Noon nevertheless. And he throws in a few new covers each show. He mixes it up. He mixes it up. Um, Big Windmill Farm, if I remember correctly. Huh, that's strange. Trump wants to ban all windmills, right? That's one of his goals that was announced just this past week, I think. What Dreams May Come, starring Robin Williams. You want to see an interesting Robin Williams film, and what he liked to do is, especially when he was already iconic and could do what he wanted, pick and choose. He liked to do a movie that he thought, like the RV movie. He didn't like it, but he thought, well, this will be pretty successful, and it was pretty successful. The later years now, Mrs. Doubtfire is done. There is a script being developed for Mrs. Doubtfire 2 that never got made, of course. And so now he did the RV film, and then he did a film called The Night Listener. Go to Pluto. Just say, Alexa, play The Night Listener on Pluto and watch the movie. I did last week. I had seen it once before. But when you realize that since the film, half of the movie, let's say more than a third of the movie was shot again 10 miles down the road in Montgomery, New York. They made it sound like Montgomery, Alabama, or Montgomery, Wisconsin. I think Montgomery, Wisconsin, but it was so you see the water tower that I've seen many times that says Montgomery, but then they added in WI, and you see Robin Williams walking right by it, and you're seeing the houses, and you say, "I've seen that house, I've seen that house," and but he was in bad shape. In terms of his alcoholism and what have you, and as soon as that film wrapped, he had to go back into rehab. Um, the alcoholism reoccurred in Alaska when he worked with Al Pacino. Al Pacino, and because there was a lot of downtime, and it's dark half the time when they're shooting. More, if not all the time, most, I'm sorry, it's the opposite. It's bright all the time. The brilliant sunshine it seemed most of the time, no darkness, and it screws with you. It screws with you. So Robin Williams had, beaten alcohol, hadn't drunk for months. And at that point during that movie, he said, "Well, yeah, I'm fine now. I could drink a little." It's like I could have one Linden chocolate chip cookie. I could have one Milano cookie from Pepperidge Farm. No. So that sent him spiraling after that film. He finished the movie. He was brilliant with Al Pacino. And I love Insomnia. I've seen it a number of times. What's the actress's name? I always forget in real time, but she was brilliant as well. Um, and he had to go into rehab after that. But by the time he got to Montgomery, New York, he was, when the camera wasn't on, he plays a talk show host that tells these fascinating stories late at night. Seems to be a pre-recorded show though, and he has a huge audience, and he's drawn to come to Montgomery, Wisconsin, really Montgomery, New York, to see if this story is really true, because it seems so wild. So you see him driving in the Hudson Valley and what have you, and yeah, that I know exactly where he is. And when the camera comes on, what can I tell you? He was in a bad place in his mind, but as soon as the camera comes on, he is able to push it aside and do a brilliant performance in a movie he knew would not be a big hit. The Night Listener. Look how long we've gone, and I was worrying that we'd make an hour and a half. I do not care for that box listening to us. I put that box in a drawer. Oh, the box is everywhere. I told the story about driving home from a doctor's appointment that Karen had down in New Jersey when she was going to have her first neck surgery. And we're talking about biscuits. And all of a sudden, Alexa gives us a recipe for biscuits. What? Oh, love Tim Allen movies. Yes, I've enjoyed a number of them. And Home Improvement, sure. Yep. Boy, he aged, didn't he? Whereas what's his name? With he loves his hose. He loves his hose. Al, right? And in the show, it was Al. What the heck is his name? I'm forgetting his name now. With the beard, he still looks pretty much like he did on Home Improvement. Some people, you know what? One of the things is he keeps a little extra weight on, just a little, and it keeps the face looking young. Tim the Tool Man Taylor, yeah, he made a good Santa. He did. And of course, don't forget Galaxy Quest. I loved him in Galaxy Quest. That's where we saw the gentleman who played the detective with all the tics and phobias. Tony, that guy. Hilary Swank. Thank you, Vinny. I always forget the name Hilary Swank, and I love her. She was so good in that movie. and she was good when she played, trying to pretend she was a male when she was obviously is a female. That was a powerful movie. Um, I never get tired of watching McClintock, loaded with great actors. Yeah, seen a little of it, but it's been so long ago. Richard Karn. Thank you, Vinny, helping me out again. Richard Karn. I mean, didn't he and Tim do some kind of a show together on the one of the home networks or something? I don't know, think it was necessarily home improvement, but it was something to do with the home. I think they did something together in recent years. Richard Karn is so likable. I want to see more of him. I want to see more of him, not just telling me how much he likes his hose. Yeah. But yeah, we all have those favorite TV shows of the past, like David Jansen in The Fugitive. Oh, that was good. That was good. The movie with Harrison Ford was great too. That was great too. Of course, they had Tommy Lee Jones in there. Of course, it's going to be great. Wow, look how long we've gone. 42 still watching, 52 likes. Please hit the subscribe button, the like button, notification bell. Hello, replay crowd. Thank you for hitting the thanks button. That always helps us. 99 cents is fine. $1.99, $5, whatever, whether you're watching us live or in the replay. The replay. Thanks again to Nanette, to Vinny, to Elaine Peterson for hitting the Cash app. I appreciate that very much on this Labor Day weekend edition of Worldwide Ramblings. Yeah, I know. I know what you're referring to. I did see that, Neo, with Tim Allen. I did see a few episodes of that. Have a wonderful Sunday. Have a wonderful Labor Day. As I say, I'm going to Onion Fest later today. Andy will be in charge here, and then I'll grab a pizza or something on the way home. Looking through the NIV here. Galatians chapter 5. I know when I've underlined things that means it was important to me then, so it'll probably be good on air. I mean, how could it not be? It's the word of God. You, my brothers, were called to be free, but do not use your freedom to indulge the sinful nature. Rather, serve one another in love. Serve one another in love. Do we do enough of that? Do I do enough of that? I'm trying to do that with Karen, and not complain or kind of let my anxiety cause me to be to appear impatient or anything. I want to do this right. The entire law is summed up in a single command: love your neighbor as yourself. That's the Old Testament law. If you keep on biting and devouring each other, watch out, or you will be destroyed by each other. So I say, live by the Spirit, and you will not gratify the desires of the sinful nature. For the sinful nature desires what is contrary to the Spirit, and the Spirit what is contrary to the sinful nature. They are in conflict with each other, so that you do not do what you want. But if you are led by the Spirit, you are not under the law. The acts of the sinful nature are obvious: sexual immorality, impurity, debauchery, idolatry, and witchcraft, hatred, discord, jealousy, fits of rage, selfish ambition, dissensions, factions, and envy, drunkenness, orgies, and alike. I warn you, as I did before. This is Paul writing to Galatians. Sometimes it's hard to turn the page. That those who live like this will not inherit the kingdom of God. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Against such things there is no law. Those who belong to Christ Jesus have crucified the sinful nature with its passions and desires. Since we live by the Spirit, let us keep in step with the Spirit. Let us not become conceited, provoking, and envying each other. From Galatians chapter 5. There's the challenge. There's the challenge. It's been fun, Vinny. Thank you so much. Good night, Jack. And everyone says Jackie, Elaine, and Rita, and Susan Fenner, and um, obviously Neo Neon. Brenda Sage. Hey, Jack, and everybody. I pray all this as well. Prayers for Karen. Happy Labor Day weekend to all. Jesus loves you. Good night, Dodge Ram, and lovely Rita Maid, and all the rest. Stephen Spielich saying howdy, Jack, at the last minute. Hi, Stephen Spielich. Check the replay out for a little bit. We started off, I was a little worried because I didn't have much, but we had quite a fun time tonight. 2.5 hours worth. Amazing. Good night, Helen McDonald. Thanks for watching Worldwide Ramblings. We'll see you probably on Wednesday night at 10 p.m. East Coast time, but probably there'll be a pre-recorded video before that. All right. Jack Willard saying, I appreciate you all so much. And you've given us a wonderful month here. Very, very reassuring. I'll say reassuring. So, till next time, bye-bye for now. Jesus loves you, and so do I.